All right, Nick, let's talk about the Alabama Crimson Tide. This is a team that has deep rooted ties to the NFL. They've sent so many players there over the years. I'd reckon to say probably more than almost any other team in the last decade or so. So, when you have that many guys there, there starts to become a lineage that can build when you separate generations. And Alabama picks up a commitment today that I think is going to be very special for them going forward.
Yeah, Miles, I could not agree more. This is one of the cooler Alabama stories of the offseason for sure, which leads me to my question today for Crimson Tide fans to answer, as always, in the comment section below. Let's back it up a little bit. The last decade has been really good for Alabama. The past 2 decades, frankly, have been pretty good for Alabama. But when Nick Saban first came into the fold, give us the moment you realized that you believed he was going to be the right guy for this program, whether it was a big win, a big recruit, whatever it may be. Give us the moment you realized Nick Saban was going to be perfect for the Crimson Tide in the comment section below. But all right, Miles, let's throw it back over to you now. What's this big recruiting news?
Yeah, Nick, we all remember famous Alabama DB Dre Kirkpatrick. Went on, played very well for Alabama, goes to the NFL, was a stalwart with the Bengals for some time as well. But let's talk about his son, Dre Kirkpatrick Jr. I think this is a really cool story. This guy is now committed to Alabama as well. No one was surprised about that, but I think it's a cool story nonetheless. Let's get into it. This is from Hayes Fawcett at On3 Sports. Obviously has all of the best recruiting news, so go give him a follow. Class of 2024 safety Dre Kirkpatrick Jr. of Gadsden, Alabama, out of Gadsden City High School, announced his commitment to Alabama Friday afternoon. The 6'9", 190-pounder chose the Crimson Tide over Missouri, Tennessee, and others. The Alabama DB joins the coach Nick Saban in the Crimson Tide's top 5 class in 2024 rankings. He's accompanied by 5-star QB Julian Sand, 5-star athlete Jan Mbakwe, and others. Kirkpatrick Jr. ranks as the 1,399th player on the On3 industry ranking, a weighted average that utilizes all 4 websites and compiles them into a rated average. He also taps in as the 129th safety and number 48th player of the state of Alabama. And all of that is nice and good. There's a lot of numbers. You might think, wow, this guy's pretty low down there. But you gotta remember the inside track Alabama has on this guy. They know exactly who they are getting. So I would kind of throw that stuff out the window, because I think if Alabama is to offer a kid like this, then they know that he is going to be special, Nick. What do you think about this guy, and what do you think he means for the program going forward?
Yeah, so obviously it's a cool story in terms of sort of a legacy commitment and that kind of thing. But let's be honest here. No one is ever going to say Nick Saban is sentimental and emotional and sappy. And we just throw a scholarship just to a player's son, a former player's son, just to be nice, just to be, that Kirkpatrick was great for me, so I'm going to give his son a spot. Does that sound like Nick Saban? Of course not. Ignore the recruiting rankings here. This kid's going to be fantastic. Like sometimes you see with the class of 2024, in fact, even some 2025 recruits, some of these guys start out really low just because there isn't a lot of film on them, or they haven't fully matured into their physical dimensions yet. The guys right now in the 2024 and 2025 class that are top 5, top 10, top 3 recruits, those are the guys that hit their height, weight, all their physical goals, in terms of how big they're going to get right around freshman, sophomore year in high school, right? And so they just look, at 15, 16 years old, they look like a first round prospect in the NFL. And so they're ranked that high. But these kids are still in high school, right? These still got a lot of time to grow. And that's what we're going to see from Kirkpatrick Jr. here as well. I think this kid's going to get a little thicker. I think potentially put on a few more inches in height, maybe. And then I think just get a little bit more coordinated, a little more experience under his belt. He has all the physical tools. He has the pedigree. He is going to rocket up the recruiting boards once he fills out a little bit, once he looks a little bit more like a top prospect on tape, because that's really what it is right now. He just doesn't pass the physical eye test in terms of being, a top 100, top 150 recruit, but he'll get there. Because remember, this kid's, 16, 17 years old, right? He'll get there in no time. I'm not worried about that at all. But I will say this much: this does make me feel pretty darn old, because I remember seeing Kirkpatrick play a lot in Alabama, and of course for the Cincinnati Bengals. And I was, at the time, Kirkpatrick, he was younger than I was, or I think maybe about the same age, maybe a little bit younger than I was. And I was just like, now he's got his sons playing in Alabama or committed to Alabama. It just really put a damper on how youthful I was feeling. But this kid, I will say this about Kirkpatrick Jr. He has a chance, if he's able to do a good job and get bigger and stronger, which I think he will, to really be kind of a mental leader for this recruiting class. Because believe it or not, because his dad played there, because he has that connections to the NFL, because he has the rings that his dad brought, he has a chance for some of these other recruits who have just heard about the Alabama mystique. He has a chance to be another force, kind of another ear to the other recruits, helping bring that Alabama culture to that recruiting class. So they get it from both sides. The coaches will obviously bring it, and now Kirkpatrick Jr. could bring it as well. So there's a lot of value this kid could add to the class.